All right, hey, Heatsink here. So this is the continuation of the Hades Omega Spec heatsink for the BAC2000. So thus far, let me go over what we've gotten thus far, and I'll talk about this little tube here in a second. I shot a video on it prior to this, so you probably already know what it's about. So yeah, so this is a heatsink that I found just lying around in my box of heatsinks here, that I have had for a long time, since before time started type of thing. I don't know, not quite, but so yeah, there's this thing is gonna get really dirty. It's gonna get mud packed up in it, and the fins and everything. No bueno. Fortunately, hopefully we can just spray that stuff off with water, because it's kind of dirty right now. I might want to clean it. I'm not sure. But anyway, so the first thing we did is we brazed, welded, or aluma welded these tabs onto here. If I think back to it, I probably should have just used JB welded. Probably would have been fine. We don't really need that to conduct heat or anything. So, but that's what I tried to do. So what happened is the fins got warped a little bit, and the tips got warped. So that's kind of bent. Kind of like that, so we're gonna lose some kind of like contact area. So you can see there's maybe like right here, it's all bent and stuff, so that's not going to touch very well. Most of the part that's going to be touching is probably up to like here, I think. So that's good. And then this extra part that's hanging off, we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave most of it there, but we're gonna have to cut some of it. So and then, so what I did was I didn't want to heat it up again, because I don't think I could have got these tabs to stay put, because I used the anvil here to keep them steady, and there's nothing really to keep it steady unless I had like a special jig or something to hold it up. So I decided to just JB weld the other side, because there was like a big gaps on it. So, and then I flattened it as best I could. I tried to resurface it with the resurfacing disc. You can see a bunch of scratches and stuff in it. What I might do is go through it with like some maybe 400 grit sandpaper, and then go up to like 1,000 grit sandpaper to get it super shiny and super smooth, so it makes a good contact with the other heatsink. And then I tried to flatten these as much as possible. I grinded it. That's what I did in the last video that I worked on this. And then so now I added some more here because I think I grinded too much off. And then I'm gonna go very carefully with like some sandpaper, or maybe just a file, and just like try to flatten this one and this one as much as possible. I just wanted to, because there was like a gap there again. So I'm gonna go do that, and then today we're gonna go drill the heatsink for the BAC2000. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unbolt it. We'll unbolt it, and then we'll drill it from the backside. I feel that if we try to drill it from here, we might, we might not drill it properly. But I mean, all we could do is one thing we could do is just slot it, slot it so we can get the thing in there. But I'd rather just drill a hole, so it's more secure. Okay, so I've already marked all the areas that we're gonna go drill, and we're gonna use a 1/8 drill bit. And yeah, but to do that, we're gonna have to take the controller off the bike a little bit. So we're gonna unbolt it here, and then pull it back, and then probably take the wiring harness off, but I'll leave the motor leads on. One thing I might want to do is disconnect the battery. All right, it's already disconnected. Let me turn on the power, so there's no power. Okay, good. Okay, so all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and flatten this out right now, and then I won't worry about, we'll refinish it later when I'm done cutting it. So what's got to happen is we got to drill the holes in there, and then we got to drill the holes in here, Then we got to mount it, and then we got to figure out how much we're going to cut, because this is actually, oh yeah, also this is where I kind of damaged this one. I heated it up too much, so it actually started melting the fin. So, but yeah. Heatsink is a noob at brazing, okay? I can solder, but I suck at brazing, so I got the aluminum too hot, you know, and it melted the aluminum. Can you believe that? and I had to use the MAP gas. You're supposed to use propane, but Heatsink found out that brazing heatsink is very difficult because it's a heatsink. It soaks up heat really well, you know. So it's hard to get that one area, you know, thing. The best thing to do would be to TIG weld it with a aluminum TIG welding rod, and that I do not know how to use, and I don't have the access to that kind of equipment, so that wouldn't work. Or the next thing to do would just be to JB weld the tabs onto, so that would actually work also. So now that I think about it, I think it would have been plenty strong, but it's super duper strong now. This Aluma weld stuff is very strong. Okay, and we're going to wind up drilling through some of it though, so hopefully this stuff holds up pretty well after drilling. All right, because that's what's going to hold the heatsink on. Yeah. Also, in the last video, I made a video of me at Granger. I went down to my local Granger, not too far from my house, and I bought this tube of Super Lube silicone heatsink compound. So this is the grease that we'll be using to put between the heatsink and the two heatsinks. So we're gonna put this heatsink onto the BAC2000, but we're gonna sandwich this between it. It's gonna be kind of like the peanut butter, you know, it'll be the peanut butter and jelly, I guess, is what we're gonna call it. Peanut butter and jelly. It has it's some kind of grease that doesn't dry up, and it has a zinc oxide in it. So zinc oxide, apparently it transfers heat really well. So that's what we want. Why do we need to use this? Well, it's just to, you know, just to fill in all the voids and scratches and stuff. If there are any, you can see, like, when I resurface it, there's a bunch of little scratches in it. It's kind of porous, is what I'm going to say. See, there's a dent right here, and then this isn't flat. So all the kind of inconsistencies in the heatsink material will be you know, covered by this. And then I think what we'll probably do is we'll slather it on here, just the part that's going to touch the heatsink, and then we'll slather a light coat. We'll put a light coat on the front here, and then a light coat on that one, on the BAC2000. But before that, we will be doing an experiment. So we're going to take this up to Sierra Road, and Sierra Road is a road that it goes straight up pretty much. It doesn't stop. It just keeps on going up and up and up. And we're going to do a run, and we'll probably take our thermometer here, our laser thermometer. We're going to do a run going up the hill to the parking lot at the top of Sierra Road, and then we will record what temperature is. I'll probably touch it with my hand. I'll let you know, you know, it's a little bit warm. It's super warm. I don't want to hold it for very long, you know, that kind of thing. And so that's going to be our little experiment to see how good this works. Also, in the I don't know, I don't really want to mess around with the NXT because I got everything set up close to how I want it, and if I start messing around with the display and stuff, it deletes stuff. So, but there is you know what? I might be able to go in the Backdoor app and see how hot it is, because there is actually a bit in the Backdoor app. I think it tells you how hot the controller is. And that's an important thing, because I mean, well, that's what it tells you. So we'll take 3 different heat measurements, one from the Backdoor app, one from my hand, and I'll just tell you. And 3 is going to be, we're going to use a laser thermometer. Obviously, the one that's on the controller itself is probably more truthful. I just want to say more. That's okay. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, so I need to flatten this out, drill the holes in there, drill the holes here. I think that's what we're going to be doing for this video. But I'm going to try to finish this today. And then once we got this mounted up on there, we'll mount it without the lube, and then we'll find out how much we need to cut it, because it's actually too long right now. at the very least, I do not want it to block the scoop. This scoop here. That's here underneath the controller, because we need that for cooling, the motor. So we cannot block this. So probably I wouldn't go farther than maybe this right here, to this, like just above the screws. Okay, so we're gonna lop that off, and then we're gonna wind up lopping off some of the fins on the top here, because the fender might hit it. So we don't want that to happen either. So that would be no bueno. I might break this too. So when I compress the suspension. So what we'll probably do is mount it, and then we'll chop it to how far we need it here, and then we'll mount the bike back on the trailer, and then we'll find out, we'll mark where we need to cut the fins off. So what it's going to be like is we're going to be missing some fins here, but there'll still be an aluminum plate, you know, and it'll be still transferring heat, and then there'll be fins like from here to like here. So and then we're gonna add a second heatsink to the other heatsink too. So it's gonna be like 3 heatsinks connected to each other. So this other heatsink, I need to clean this one too. We're gonna mount this like right here. Okay. Yeah. And then if possible, if I can find a really small heatsink for like a chipset, computer chipset, that's about this long, we could probably mount one in the center here. What I'm thinking, how are we gonna mount this? That's a good question. These tabs line up, but there's nowhere to drill a hole. We'd have to drill it through the fin. So what I'm thinking is we'll drill a hole. We can use this hole, and we could use this hole, I guess, because none of these where these line up, they hit the thing. Yeah. That, or we can make tabs for this too, but I don't want to do that. Okay, so that's the plan. Hopefully I can get it done by today. I've been working on it all week, and I think, you know, the BAC2000 controller really needs it. All right, here's we go. Just in case you're wondering how much rod I used to weld or braze these tabs on, was that much of a rod. Maybe almost the quarter of a whole rod. So actually not much. So it turned out, you know, usually when I use these, I go through them pretty fast, but it depends on the project, I guess. It's not really a whole lot of aluminum needed to hold that together. All right, yeah. Okay, so what I think I'm going to use to grind these flat here is this sanding sponge here for like model kits and stuff. I think that'll do a good job. It's flat and easy to, you know, and it's a really fine one too. So, all right. If you remember, what did I use this for? I used this to smoothen out the NXT display castings and stuff, or 3D printings. Okay, so about 20 minutes of sanding. There we go. I got it. So it's pretty flat and it's really smooth now. So I wound up doing these 3 because this one kind of looked kind of bad too. I think it may have warped in that area too. That's what I'm thinking, because this looks like it's sunken in right here, so that's no good. Yeah, I don't know how well this heatsink is going to do, but it's going to be better than nothing, that's for sure. But yeah, so there, it's pretty smooth now. It's still kind of got some that JB Weld makes a lot of dust. If you remember, this was white before and it's gray now, so probably should wash it in the sink. Okay, so next step is we're going to go drill some holes. Drill some holes in the controller. Alright, the controller heatsink. Alright.